Hello, gentlemen and ladies. In this video, I'm going to show you how to prepare a topic, especially how to prepare a topic for our lessons. I'm going to try to make the video short, but I already know I'm going to fail. I'm also going to try to make it simple and clear. Simple because students who are B1 and B2 are going to be watching it too, so I'm going to try to make it simple. So let's start. We have a topic. In this case, the topic is prison yoga and is just one page. When you are giving the topic, when I send you the topic, of course, there are going to be no colors whatsoever. That's up to you to do that if you feel it helps you, which I highly recommend. So you're going to get a plain text, and now you have to prepare the text for our lessons because, of course, the more you prepare, the better. Actually, the whole quality of the lesson depends almost entirely on you. So if you want to have an amazing and beneficial lesson, you do have to prepare at home. Otherwise, we might be angry with each other in the lesson, dissatisfied, frustrated, and also bored. So you get a topic. What do you do first? First, and all the steps are written right here. I'm going to send you the page, the document too. So the first step, step A, is you're supposed to read the article rather fast. It means don't stop. Don't look up anything. Don't use a dictionary. For the love of God, do not write anything down. Just read it. And rather fast to get the full context, to get the gist, the main idea of the article. And if you don't understand something, that's totally okay. Just use the context to understand. It is a very useful skill. After you have read it once, read the article again, this time more slowly. But again, do not stop, do not look up anything, don't write anything down, don't use dictionary, just go through it slowly or more slowly, and again use the context so that you get yourself familiar with the article. After you have read it for the second time, now it's time to analyze the article a bit. So stage B is, and also when you read the article, you have accomplished roughly 5% of the article, of the preparation. So it's not enough to read it. So if I ask you at the beginning of the lesson, hey, have you prepared the topic? And you tell me, yeah, I read it. Doesn't count. Reading is not enough. Reading is 5%. So congratulations, you have prepared 5%. I'm pretty sure you want to prepare more. So how to prepare more? Stage B is about vocab and about really understanding the article. And surprisingly, it accounts for only 20%. So if you read it and then you understand the article perfectly, you are still only 25% in. Encouraging, right? So what I do, what you should do, go through the article and this time look up new words or simple phrases, for example, drive, bad behavior right here, or do sentence or serve sentence. New words, simple phrases, or even more complex phrases, for example, cut an imposing figure, which we might get to later. How to look up new words and how to prepare. First, I would like to say that whatever you do in understanding the article and the words and the phrases, please do not make notes. I know it probably goes against your instincts, but do not make notes. Do not write anything down. I will tell you why not, or I will tell you what to do instead. So let's see, there is a new word. I'm not going to go through all the words, only some to show you what I mean. So the first word is imposing. Imposing figure. This judge cuts an imposing figure. Let's ignore this phrase. Let's focus on imposing. So easy. I use my favorite dictionary. I'm going to write in imposing to see what it means. So it is an adjective, obviously, and it says grand and impressive in appearance. So impressive, you probably know impressing. So if your appearance is impressive, well, your figure is imposing. You look imposing. Very often, it pays off to look up the picture. In this case, I typed in imposing figure. This statue looks kind of imposing, with authority, and what was the word? Impressive, yes. You look at the statue and you go like, wow, it's really imposing, it's really impressive. I always suggest clicking on synonyms. They are synonyms, they are not the same. Very often when there's in one context you can use imposing, but you cannot use striking in the same context. They are synonyms, they are not identical words, they are not interchangeable. But they will help you understand what it means. But keep in mind, they are just synonyms. What I definitely suggest doing is clicking on example sentences. Here, Control F, imposing, and I see how it is used in the context, because you always need context. Even here, you need the context. Do not isolate just one word. And here we have the context. So what can be imposing? Flat can be imposing. Appearance can be imposing. Appearance is imposing. Impression is imposing. Appearance, presence, appearance, building, appearance, imposing composition, imposing woman, imposing voice. So in this case, kind of a lot of things can be imposing, but don't get discouraged. Maybe better example would be searing. She was suffering from the searing abdominal pain. So again, we need the full context. She was suffering from something. From what? From some pain. What pain? Searing pain. Well, what is searing? Very easy. This is searing. We have two similar, could be maybe, meanings. And I'm pretty sure that we are looking for extremely hot or intense. I'm sure you can fathom or imagine pain, which is extremely hot or intense. Searing heat. I'm going to click on example sentences right away. And what is searing? Look, pain, heat, something, heat, pain, sting, pain, heat, pace, sun, flame, kiss. So you see that not a million things can be searing, but we usually use it when we talk about heat, pain, or some feeling, kiss, flame. So extremely hot or intense, but not everything. I wouldn't say that the book was searing or the speech was searing, unless, another meaning, unless the speech was severely critical. But let's leave that for some other time. So the pain was searing. Next time you want to say pain and it was hot and intense, well, feel free to say searing pain. We have many other kinds of pain. We have throbbing pain, piercing pain, dull pain, many other kinds of pain. So again, you need the full context. Searing what? Searing pain. You need full context, you need to look up the definition, synonyms can help you, look up example sentences, make sure your pronunciation is right. So,
searing.
I can play it or I can just read it. Searing.
Searing.
And make sure, or if possible, look up pictures. Searing pain, can I look up something? What's gonna happen? Searing pain. Well, I guess hot and intense. Yeah, okay. Searing pain. Searing pain. Searing pain. Like a migraine. That's a nice visualization. Again, do not make notes. For the love of God, do not use check. And do not isolate the word. So again, you need the full context. If you need to make notes, and it's not totally forbidden, I will tell you later, please don't make short notes. I know that you have been taught that short notes are great, but very often it is not possible to make a short note. So if it is not possible, don't do it. It will only lead to mistakes, because if you make a short note, you don't have that full context, and you need full context. So please do not write down one synonym here above searing, thinking that that will help you. No, it will not help you. You will not remember it, and it will only lead to mistakes. When I say don't make notes, don't write down any definition, why not? Well, you can if you really want to, but it will be boring. And from my experience, when clients make notes, the notes are not good because they're trying to save time, and they just end up making a wrong note, usually short note that is misleading at best, and total nonsense at worst. So what I suggest that you go through the article every time you see a new word, or not every time, but a word that you think you will benefit from, something relevant, look it up, spend some time analyzing it, trying to memorize it, and then, without writing it down, just continue. Then you see another word, do the same, and then continue, don't write anything down, and next word, and next word, and next word. When you get to the end of the article, read it again. And yes, when you read it again, you will probably not remember many of the words that you have looked up. Well, look them up again, but don't write anything. Read it. Read the full article, and then read it again, and then again, and then again. And every time you are reading it and you don't remember what it was, even though you looked it up 20 minutes ago, look it up again. And go through the article as many times until you remember all the words you want to remember. Don't write anything down unless you really want to. For example, I love making notes. I like doing something with my hand. I love notebooks, something tangible that I'm holding in my hand. So I love making notes, but maybe you should not. Also, it will encourage you or force you to go through the article many times, and that's what we want. Also, there are some phrases, drive bad behavior, some compulsions. I don't want to go into details. Compulsions which drive your bad behavior. So again, look up drive bad behavior. You might find something interesting. So don't look up just drive or behavior. No, the full sentence, the full phrase, drive bad behavior. Or full sentence, some offenders, people who commit some crime, choose to do their full sentence. What does it mean, do sentence? Well, you can look it up, of course. You can Google it, which I strongly encourage. Do sentence simply means that you go to prison and you stay there as long as you are supposed to, like 10 years, for example, or hopefully just 1 year. It's like 2 years for not studying English, I think, but I'm not sure. I'm going to have to check. So do sentence. It's not sentence like here. You see something. Hey, that's sentence. No, it has something. It has totally different meaning. Do sentence, or also serve sentence, which simply means you are in a prison for some number of years. That's it. You have to look up the full context and the full phrase. Or more complex phrases. For example, here, cut an imposing figure. And again, I encourage you, maybe not again, maybe for the first time, don't overthink this. Don't think too much. Cut an imposing figure. You look at this statue, and this guy looks imposing, let's say. So the full sentence would be, wow, he cuts an imposing figure. It's just a phrase. Don't think of cutting an onion or chopping an onion. No, it's just a phrase. Cut an imposing figure. You can even look it up here. Cut something figure. You present yourself or appear in a particular way. It doesn't have to be just an imposing figure. Look, David has cut a dashing figure. Feel free to look up dashing, stylish and fashionable. So you can cut basically any figure. It's just a phrase. In this case, in this case, you don't really need it, but it's an example of what I wanted to say. So that's the vocab. Go through the article as many times until you remember all the vocab you wanted to remember. Not all of it. You will not be able to remember all of it. And don't make any notes. Next section, 5%, is reserved for grammar. That would be the blue parts. So go through the article and notice grammar. Just notice it because you will know most of it. As I always say, there's not really any grammar in English. It's so simple that it's difficult to even talk about it as grammar. Notice it. For example, I'm sure that you will notice, hey, after can't, I have to use an infinitive. Well, of course, we all know it, right? I thought it was. Why is it not I thought it is? Well, again, it's grammar, and you probably know it, but you can notice it as you read it, and that helps you a lot. You can even notice simple things like suffer from, improvements in. You probably know it, but again, pay attention to it, notice it. That will actually boost your confidence, because you will see, hey, the article is full of things I actually know. And you can pick some interesting and useful grammar points, if there are any. For example, in this article, I chose these 3, 1, 2, and 3. The first one is hoping to avoid it. You can Google the grammar, you can analyze the grammar, you can think about it and then practice it. That means make some sentences using the grammar. For example, hoping to avoid it, I did something. Hoping to persuade him to come with me, I gave him $5. It doesn't have to be just hoping. It can be seeing something, I decide to do something. So feel free to play with it. Feel free to make 5-10 sentences just to practice it. Here, another beautiful, I would say even practical, grammar point. They are said to clear the body. Yoga or yoga positions are said to clear the body of toxins. They are said to do something. It means people say that yoga clears the body of toxins. We can say people are said to always complain when blah blah blah. It means people say that people complain. Children are said to cry when something happens. So again, it means we as a society say that kids cry when something. Rather than another grammar point that we can point out and Google, analyze, and then practice. Some offenders choose to do their full sentence rather than try yoga. And again, we can make our own sentences. I would read rather than watch a stupid movie. And again, I can make 5-10 sentences practicing rather after I have looked up how to use it if I don't know how to use it. So go through the article, notice grammar, Google some grammar, practice some grammar. So now we have covered reading the article, analyzing the vocab, learning the vocab, and noticing grammar. All these 3 sections account for roughly 30%. Yeah, 30%, far from 10%. So what comes next? Next come 2 phases, 2 stages, which are the most important. They account for 30 and 30%, so 60% in total, and it is about speaking. Because English, any language, and our lessons should be about speaking. When it comes to your preparation, your speaking preparation or preparation for speaking, for talking, for discussing should account for roughly 60% of your preparation time. But in the lesson, we should spend roughly 90% of our time speaking. So you do have to prepare for it. What do I mean by that? If the topic is prison yoga, you have to prepare interesting questions for us to discuss in the lesson that will be about prison yoga. So go through the article, and every time you see something interesting and specific that you would like to talk about in the lesson, write it down. Or at least highlight it in the article, for example, with pink color or purple color. Sometimes it is not possible to just highlight it. It would make no sense. So sometimes you have to write down the sentence, literally black on white. Write it down. Every time you see something in the article we can discuss, write it down. The question or the discussion point that you prepare for our lessons or opinions or your life experiences must always be specific. So if the topic is prison yoga, it must be about prison yoga. Do not make vague questions. For example, don't ask me, do you like yoga? Or what do you think about yoga? Or is yoga good? No, the topic is about prison yoga. So it must be about something which was in the article. So make it specific, make it related to the article, make it relevant, and generally make questions which are inspired by the article. Don't make it vague, don't make it irrelevant, don't make it boring. I have actually prepared 18 questions, 18 specific questions, but here I have space only for 10, so I chose 10. I'm not gonna go through them, but these questions are specific, taken from the article. And try to make at least 5 questions or discussion points for each page. This article has only 1 page, so 5 would be okay. But that is the most important part of your preparation. Prepare the questions, because your teacher is lazy and he doesn't want to prepare it. Plus, your teacher wants you to work. Preparing the questions is not enough, surprisingly, because the next 30% is about preparing answers to your own questions. So the questions that you come up with in section D, you have to prepare for them in section E. What do I mean by preparing answers? Well, you have to be ready to talk about it in the lesson. You have to be ready to answer your own questions. You have to be ready to share your opinions and or your life experiences. You can even find out more about it on Google, do some research. I have some clients who do that, and it's beautiful. They come up with a lot of interesting facts that they share with me in the lesson, and that's beautiful. When I say prepare the questions, I do not mean writing your answers down and then reading it in the lesson. That's just no, it should not be about reading. You can make short notes, very short notes, that will help you talk about it in the lesson. But please, just short notes, because again, you should be speaking in the lessons, using your own words, not reading some sentences which you prepared at home. So I'm gonna say it again. The most important part of every topic is speaking, and it's not just about preparing questions for us to discuss in the lesson, it's also about preparing your answers, so that in the lesson you don't just say, I don't know, I've never thought about it, maybe, I don't know. Please don't say I don't know, you have to know. That's why you prepare. Okay, so once you have done all that, there are 10 more percent to cover the topic. Here, you're supposed to read the article over and over again until you remember it. I'm not kidding. It's important to remember it, because the first thing or the second thing I'm going to ask you in the lesson is to tell me what the article was about, including as much detail as you can, using your own words. So yeah, you do have to read it a lot. And I can promise you, the more you prepare for the article, the more you will see that any other article has actually a lot of things that you remembered and memorized from the first article. Here, the word suffering, trust me, you will see it in almost every article. It's not just one word. The time that you invest here will pay off in the future. So the more you prepare, the more you will benefit. Everything will be beautiful. It's time well invested. So read the article over and over again until you remember it. Next stage will be make short, brief notes to help you remember and summarize the article. That's very similar to the preceding stage, F. Because as I said, the second thing I'm going to ask you to do in the lesson is to tell me what the article was about and to summarize it. So yeah, make short, brief notes, no long sentences. And the last thing that you should prepare, it's easy, don't worry. Come up with a warm-up question for the lesson. So the first thing we're going to do in the lesson is we're going to have some warm-up discussion, warm-up questions, which will take 1, 2, maybe 5 minutes tops. And then we're going to dive into the article. And I think I'm going to make you happy here. This question should be short, should be simple, should be general, should be personal, could be vague. So your warm-up question can be, hey, do you like yoga? That's fine. Warm-up question, that's fine. But later when we discuss the topic, this question is not fine. At that point, you will need some detailed questions. So this is what you should do at home. You should go through all the stages and prepare the article as much as you can, because as I said at the beginning, and as I will keep on saying, the quality of the lesson depends almost entirely on you. The more you prepare, the more you will benefit, the more fun we will have. It's gonna be an amazing lesson. I'm pretty sure I have forgotten to say some important things, but at this point I cannot think of anything. I'm pretty sure I have told you the most important things, and that's speaking. The speaking part is the most important. Again, it's not enough to just read the article. Not enough. One more thing before I sign off is, when the article is long, many pages or many paragraphs or many sections, it is much better to prepare only part of the text, but thoroughly, it means well, rather than preparing the whole article, but just, well, not well. Focus on a smaller portion, but well, rather than trying to cover the whole article and making it superficial. Do not rush through the article. Seriously, focus on, it's better to do less, but well, rather than everything in a slapdash manner. And I think that's all. I'm gonna share the link with you so that you can see these 2 pages. Okay, well, thank you for listening, and see you in the lesson.